Somebody fucking kill me, please. Even though, yeah, we had a winning day yesterday. 5-4 day, I believe is what it was. So slight win, winning the last 3 games on the slate. What did we even have yesterday? We lost in the Chicago Cubs, Seattle and A's. I think we lost on the under in that one. Is that right? I don't even know anymore. Mets won. That hit. San Diego Yankees over did not hit. Dylan Cease taking a no-hitter until like the 8th inning or something. Absolutely not what you would expect from a guy who had a 6+ ERA against the Yankees in his career and had terrible numbers, as I pointed out on the show. Absolutely ridiculous. Philly Tampa did stay under, even though they got up to 7 runs, probably through 6 or 7 innings, but then it just stayed there. The bullpens get it done, which I was relying on Tampa's bullpen to help us there. But Philly's bullpen came through against a weak hitting Tampa offense. So that got there. Cincinnati Reds got there. Even though Hunter Green, I think, got hurt. I don't know if he was vomiting on the mound again or what, but he was pitching well. No runs through 3 innings, and he got pulled from the game. I don't know exactly what happened, unless it was a rain delay or something. But the Reds had to roll out all their bullpen arms pretty much and burned out their entire bullpen, which will factor into one play that I have today. So it might not be what you think it's going to be. Maybe it is. I don't know. So that happened. And then we did have the Dallas Stars. So we were winning these games late at night. Dallas Stars won. Oklahoma City Thunder, easy win, blowout win in the bounce back. And then the Celtics should have been won. This series, this will make you, as a Celtics fan, more suicidal than anything possibly could. You are the better team. You're at home. This is a team that you've dominated. Going into this series, you've won 8 of the last 9 games against them. And the Celtics have 20-point leads in both games in the third quarter. This one was with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. What do? You lose both games. Celtics have had their 2 worst shooting performances of the entire year in these 2 games. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think it's the Knicks defense, because the Knicks defense hasn't done that to the Celtics in any game when they played them last couple of seasons. So I don't think it's that. I think that the Celtics are just getting complacent, as you've seen them do this. When they get a big lead, they take their foot off the gas. You cannot do that. You have to step on your opponent's throat, and they're not doing it. You have to put them away. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the Celtics last year, they didn't have a problem with it. They did it. I don't know what is going on with them this year. Porzingis, of course, did not play the full game again, and he is a Nick killer. He played pretty well when he was in there. Pretty good numbers this time, but he came off the bench as he's recovering from an illness or something. I think Jaylen Brown has some knee issue still, but he is playing through it. Jason Tatum has shot terribly, even though he had 2 monster performances against the Knicks during the regular season. I don't know how this can happen. Celtics, again, they had 2 stretches in the fourth quarter at the end of the game where they scored like 1 point in a stretch of like 4 minutes, and then no points in another stretch of like 4 minutes or something. It makes absolutely no sense. They scored 4 points in the last like 8 or 9 minutes of the game. It just can't happen. It almost never happens. Celtics shot below 40% from field goal range, I believe 7 times the entire season, and they've done it in both of these playoff games at home. So yeah, needless to say, I will be laying the points again with the Celtics. This is basically my handicap for the next game, laying the points with the Celtics. Celtics have led for about 92 of the 96 minutes in the series, and yet they lost both games. And they had a massive lead in both games. They've had the biggest lead in both games by what? They led by 20 in both games, and their biggest deficit throughout either of them was 6 in game 1, I think. And then in this game, it was what? The biggest deficit in this one was 3, I think. So absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that a team loses games like that. Fuck all of this. We're going to talk about today, where I have a smaller board here to look at. So this is going to be easier to kind of focus here. We have one NBA game. Let's bring it up. This game is a game that's going to be a little bit difficult to handicap, to be honest. This is Warriors T-Wolves. T-Wolves, I mentioned this yesterday. I said, what is going on with this line? but it's because I wasn't paying attention to what happened in game one, which is that Stephen Curry got hurt. So that's why the line, because I was thinking, oh my God, that's a big move from the Zigzags. The T-Wolves were 7-point favorites in game one. And I'm like, even that was pretty high, but now up to 10, now 10.5 with juice, the money continuing to come in on the T-Wolves. But I think that it's a bit of an over adjustment, man. So that's the problem that I have with this. I would lean to the T-Wolves because of the zigzag, because of course, if you're the home team, you're the home favorite, just like I've said with all these other series, even though this spot has gone 1-2 this round so far, with the Cavs and the Celtics both losing again outright. I don't think the T-Wolves are going to lose this game outright. The Warriors, they're an aging team, man, and they're really thin. So if you have them without their best player, I mean, that's definitely going to hurt. But laying 10.5, I think, is a bit too much of an ask. So I'm not going to play this game, but it's up to 10.5 with juice, 57% of the cash on the T-Wolves, 50% of tickets evenly split. The public still seems to want the Warriors. Probably just looking at this line and thinking this line is insane, even though they must know that Curry is out. But they're probably thinking, well, the Warriors keep winning. Like, how could you lay 10.5 here? But I do expect the T-Wolves should win this game. It's just the problem is, like, the zigzag would dictate that is you're gonna be the team that has the adjustments to make. The T-Wolves were actually the way better team in the paint in game one, which is the more predictable metric there. 2-point scoring. The T-Wolves dominated it as the Warriors dominated the more like range shooting aspects of the game, which is not as sustainable. So the T-Wolves are the more physical team, the better paint team, which should usually carry a team. But again, the line has been over adjusted because of the Curry injury. And you know what I always say? It's the injured player theory, where when a team's star player gets hurt, the team tends to really step up the effort in the first game without him because they pretty much know they have to. So you might get another big effort out of the Warriors. And that actually might keep the Warriors from losing focus, because a lot of times if the road team pulls off the upset in game one, they're thinking, well, we already accomplished what we need. We just swung home court advantage, and they kind of take their foot off the gas in game two. But if you know that your star player's not there, you're not going to be able to take your foot off the gas. So I think you are going to get an effort out of the Warriors. And the other problem with laying a huge number like this is that this is expected to be a defensive game again. I think with the total down at 201.5, both these teams do play pretty good defense. So it could be another lower scoring game there. We'll see what happens in that game. But that is the breakdown there. We'll go to NHL. 2 games. Carolina up 1-0 at Washington. They won the first game at Washington. As I've been saying, Carolina is the better team. The odds makers are telling you they are. They're a much better defensive team. That's like basically, that's the way that it goes. Carolina's a very balanced team. They're definitely, I think they're in consideration to win this whole thing right now, especially if Florida is not going to be able to win their series. And I'm not going to count out Florida yet, as they're a huge home favorite coming up in the next 2 games. So if they win both of those, even the series up, they'll be still in decent shape there. Carolina, Washington, 78% of tickets, 92% of the cash coming in on Washington. Carolina up from -130 to -133. I don't know what I would want to do with this game, to be honest. The first game was close. First game was low scoring. It was kind of Carolina's style of game, I think. I mean, I think they like to play those lower scoring, more defensive games. I don't think the handicap really that much changes in this game. Yeah, it's a zigzag spot, so Washington really can't lose 2 games at home and then have to go to Carolina, where you know they're going to be a pretty big underdog at Carolina. But Carolina is the better team, so don't really know that I want to fade them, although maybe it would be a slight lean to Washington just because there's a slight zigzag element here. But because the first game was so close, I'm not going to do it. But I am going to zigzag the other game, which is going to be the Vegas Knights. I'm going to lay it with this one. I was considering doing it in game one, and luckily I held off. As Vegas had a 2-0 lead in game one, and then they never scored again, and they lost 4-2. And yes, they got outshot. Yes, Edmonton dominated the faceoffs. Edmonton, I mean, they are the better offensive team, but Vegas has more balance. Vegas has better goaltending. Vegas is the more physical team, as they were in game one. So you know that I like that. Physical defensive teams, especially if you're down 0-1 and you're at home. Yeah, I like Vegas in this one. Again, I mean, Edmonton still isn't very good defensively. So that's where I'm going to go with this one. I think it was a little bit of a misleading result in game one, even though, yes, Edmonton did outstat Vegas for the most part. But again, Vegas did have a 2-0 lead in that game and kind of imploded. I don't know that it's going to happen again this time. And Vegas is a very good home team. Oilers, pretty good on the road still, but Vegas just very good at home. They're 29-9-3 at home on the season. Pretty dominant home team, really. And I consider it to be almost similar to like the Oilers Kings series, where it seemed like it was going to be a very home centric series, and it was. But I thought that this series might be as well. And the odds makers are telling you the Vegas is the slightly better team by lining them like this. And the line is about where it was in game one. So no adjustment for the zigzag. But I think Vegas is going to have the adjustments to make in this game. And again, 0-1 at home. It is a good spot to play that team in both the NBA and the NHL playoffs. So that's what I'm going to do. 69% of tickets, 98% of the cash on the Vegas Knights. That's where I'm going. And again, I mean, Vegas still has the pedigree here. I mean, both of these teams really do at this point. As Edmonton was in the finals last year, Vegas was in the finals before that. So both of these teams know how to win in the playoffs like this. But Vegas is going to be the way that I'm going to go in that game. Saab, what's up, man? Florida Panthers minus 140 in regulation. I might be playing that one, actually. That would probably be the way that I'd play it. Obviously, I'm not going to lay minus 210 or whatever, but I like that spot down 0-2 at home. It's a very good spot. It's the zig-zag spot with the Panthers being the better team. Toronto, I really don't think Toronto is very good, man. We've seen year after year they just fail in the playoffs. So I do like Florida in that game. On the over in the Vegas game, I don't know, man. I would hesitate with that. I mean, it is a high total for a reason because we know Edmonton plays a ton of high-scoring games. First game, I mean, you're right. The first game wasn't that high scoring. The first game went under the 6.5. I don't really have too many thoughts on that, to be honest. But obviously the total is as high as it is for a reason. But in the playoffs, you do see defense come out a lot. And if I'm playing Vegas, I'm kind of expecting defense to factor into it a little bit. Panthers regulation. What's the minus 1.5? What is that? Is that a puck line? You're playing the puck line on Florida as well. I wouldn't play both, though. I don't know what the AH is. I probably should know as a better, but I would only find one way to play Florida because otherwise you're just playing multiple. It's like multiple ways to play the same bet, really, unless you're trying to get more money down on it in different ways, which whatever. But I would only play like one of those different bets. Probably Florida in regulation is going to be my preference there. Let's go to Major League Baseball. I have two plays here. Quick show today, guys. So this is going to be, I like Thursday. It's going to be easy. Baltimore at Minnesota, finishing their series. Minnesota's on the verge of a sweep. So, I like to look for teams trying to avoid a sweep. I might not want to look that way in this one, though. Minnesota is kind of hot right now, which I will fade hot teams. And Minnesota does have a fairly big series up next, even though it's an interleague series. It's against the Giants, who have been playing pretty well to start the season, and the Orioles have not. So Minnesota might take the Orioles a little bit lightly, but the problem is, do you want to put your money on Dean Kremer? I do not. I mean, this guy's terrible. 5.73 ERA, 1.38 whip. I constantly shit on him on my show, and there is a good reason for it. He is coming off a 7-inning shutout against the Royals, but the Royals can't really hit, and the Royals did knock him around in the other game he pitched. That's really been one of only like 2 good starts for him. He still only struck out 2 guys in the game. So I'm not going to put much weight on that. He's done okay against Minnesota in his career, though. 259 average, 607 OPS. But then on the other side, Joe Ryan looks like he was the listed starter, but now it's Bailey Ober. And I like Bailey Ober. 1.34 whip does concern me a little bit, but he is pitching better. I mean, he had that one horrific start to start the season, and since then he's been pretty much spot on. He hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start. He's allowed exactly 1 earned run in 5 of the other 6 starts, which is crazy. So Ober is pitching really well, despite the 1.34 whip, which I think is misleading. 3.72 ERA, pretty solid. That's about where you expect him to be. And he has done really well against the Orioles bats in the past. 42 at bats. He's held to a 167 average, 371 OPS. So I'm not going to be fading this pitching matchup, man. I think Ober does have the upper hand here. The line has moved in Minnesota's direction a little bit up from minus 145 to minus 150, 57% of tickets, 59% of the cash on Minnesota. I would probably lean that way just because I think the pitching matchup is actually pretty strongly in favor of Minnesota, but I would probably only play a first 5-inning bet on this because Baltimore is still going to be trying to win, obviously to avoid the sweep. And Minnesota used a lot of their bullpen staff yesterday in relief of Woods Richardson. Is actually Morton on Baltimore didn't actually pitch that badly for once. He actually kept his team in the game yesterday, which is pretty surprising. So Minnesota's bullpen situation is not great. So Minnesota first 5-inning would probably be the way that I would lean in that one. 3+ goals for the Panthers. You could play the Panthers over their team total. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that either. Toronto doesn't play very good defense, so I don't hate that either. Under 8 in the Baltimore one. I don't know about that. Again, I don't like that actually because I don't want to put my faith in Dean Creamer or on this tired Minnesota bullpen where you don't even know what bullpen arms they're going to bring out in this one. They used their better arms yesterday, so I don't like that really. Texas and Boston, although Baltimore and Minnesota, both teams can't really hit well, so at least you have that going for you. Texas, Boston, we got Jack Leiter against Brian Bayo, two young pitchers who have had ups and downs, let's say. Jack Leiter had two pretty good starts to start this season, and then he's been pretty bad in his last two starts. At San Francisco, maybe you can give him a pass for that. At home against a pretty bad Seattle lineup, not doing well. Don't know that you can really give him a pass on that one. I mean, that's not good. 1.3 whip, 4.58 ERA. Not great. And the Red Sox did see him at one point last year, and they hit 300 off him. 633 OPS is fairly low because they had no extra base hits off him in 20 at-bats. But the Red Sox have seen him, and they hit him okay. Red Sox really dealing with some injuries, though, which I like ESPN, actually, because ESPN actually factors the injuries in because you can see Casas is not in the list here, and Gonzalez got hurt yesterday for the Red Sox. So they basically have no first baseman. Toro is their first baseman. And you can see those other guys aren't in this list. So this list is up to date as far as who the batters are for the Red Sox here. But they have seen Leiter before. They did okay against them. So I don't really want to put my money on him. Brian Bayo, I don't trust the guy, but he is off to a good start this season with a 1.19 whip, 2.55 ERA. I mean, he's not going to be Pedro Martinez, all right? People are thinking that because he kind of looks like him a little bit, even though he's obviously taller than Pedro, but they're both from the Dominican. Bayo's got different stuff, though. I mean, he's doing okay, but his strikeout walk ratio is concerning, 12-7. He induces a ton of ground balls, though, which is how he's being successful. Batters are just jamming it into the ground quite a bit against him. I mean, he hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs, and then he's starting in both of his home starts. He's only allowed 1 earned run in each, which is pretty good. And he has good numbers against this Texas lineup as well. Or actually, I wouldn't say good. Actually, never mind. He has okay numbers. I was looking at the 250 average. I'm like, that's not bad. In 56 at bats, but 11-7 strikeout walk ratio is not good. 2 home runs allowed is not very good. 744 OPS is getting into the high range. So Bayo, mediocre against Texas, although Texas's offense really has been struggling this year. The money appears to be on the Red Sox side. They're down from -140 to -137, but 76% of the tickets, 95% of the cash coming in on the Red Sox. And the total is at 9.5, juice to the over with looks like cash percentage on the over. I struggle with it, man, because I could see either pitcher pitching well in this game, but I could see either pitcher doing pretty poorly in this game as well. So it's a very tough handicap. I can't play the game at all. So that's, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a stay away. White Sox, Kansas City. Kansas City is on the verge of sweeping the White Sox. So Kansas City has only won, I believe, 2 of the games by 1 run each. So these have been close games, man. So Chicago's been covering on that, on the run line there. Davis Martin, though, do you trust this guy for the White Sox to try to help them avoid the sweep? And I don't think Kansas City has a bigger opponent up next. I think they might be playing Baltimore or something, which I don't think they're going to be looking ahead to that. Is that who it is? Baltimore? Let me see. I think it is. So I don't think it's really a look ahead spot. No, it's Boston. So maybe a little, I should know that. Maybe it's a little bit more of a look ahead, but Davis Martin, 3.52 ERA looks decent, but I don't trust him. 1.36 whip is pretty bad. I mean, 26-11 strikeout walk ratio isn't that bad, but he's allowed more than 1 hit per inning, allowed a decent amount of home runs. I mean, he's been keeping his team in games, though. I had one really bad outing against Detroit, and other than that, he's allowed 4 or fewer earned runs in every start. In his last three, he's allowed 3 earned runs total across 3 starts, including one at that ridiculous A's hitting park. So he's actually starting to pitch okay the last few starts. So he hasn't been that bad. And against the Royals can't really hit. 13 at bats against them, 231 average, 692 OPS. So Martin actually hasn't been that bad against them. Bubic for Kansas City, 1.98 ERA, 1.12 whip. He is having a good season, 40-13 strikeout walk ratio, well below 1 hit per inning. Pitching pretty well. He bounced back from his worst outing with a good start in his last start, shutting out Baltimore for 5 innings. Against the White Sox, I mean, a very weak offense. So the White Sox, only 3 other hitters have seen him before, but they are 6 for 24 off him for a 250 average, 750 OPS with a few walks in there. So the guys that have seen him have been able to do okay against him, mostly Vaughn, though. So if you want player props, hits plus runs plus RBIs, Vaughn hits Bubic pretty well, 4 for 10 with a home run and 2 walks. But aside from him, not much going on with the White Sox lineup either. So I could see this game going under. That might be the way to play it. As Kansas City obviously is a massive favorite. Totals dropped a bit from 8 juicy over to 8. 69% of tickets, 88% of the cash on the over, but I would probably lean to the under. I mean, it's 7. It looks like it's 7.5 now, maybe. But I just don't trust Davis Martin enough. I don't know if I trust Bubic totally either. So we'll stay away. Detroit and Colorado are playing a doubleheader because they got rained out. Not yesterday, but 2 days ago they got rained out. And yesterday's game went way over the total, so I was wrong about that. The first matchup, I don't know about this first matchup, man. You got Mize against Freeland. Mize, decent numbers this season. I mean, better than decent. 1.09 whip, 2.7 ERA, pretty good. He's not a guy that comes in and strikes guys out, but he's really not putting a lot of guys on base via the hit or the walk. He is pitching well. Going fairly deep into games. He's been pretty efficient with his pitches. He's pitching pretty well. He's pitching effectively, but this is Coors Field, man. So this is a different animal. And Colorado has hit him okay in a small sample size, though. 12 at bats, 333 average, 917 OPS. So not a whole lot you can take away from sample size like that. And it might have been when Mize wasn't as good as he is right now this year. He's improved a bit, I would say. So this makes it a tough handicap too. And Kyle Freeland is actually one pitcher who isn't the worst for the Rockies, even though 1.46 whip is terrible. 5.70 ERA is bad, but that's how bad the Rockies rotation is, man. As you got Feltner and Freeland are actually the 2 capable pitchers that they have, and then they have a mess beyond that. Although I like Dollander, but he hasn't really done a whole lot yet. Freeland, I don't think he's that bad. And he does have good numbers against Detroit, but only 3 of their hitters have seen him before. An 18 at-bat sample size, very small, but 167 average against, 389 OPS. And he does have a 28-6 strikeout walk ratio this year, which is pretty good. He's just given up way too many hits. But his strikeout walk ratio indicates that maybe he can kind of turn it around a little bit. So he's not really the worst pitcher there. I mean, I'm still not like... I'm not running, to go under in this game or anything like that. In a game of Coors Field, I'm not going to play the game. And Detroit, of course, is a big favorite in both games. Second game looks like more of a possibility of an over, but we don't know who's pitching for Detroit. They're probably going to go with a bullpen game, although sometimes, Detroit knows how to do the bullpen games. They were doing it last year a lot. That is something that they do more than any other team, really. You can mix and match pitchers, and sometimes it does keep the hitters off balance. And Colorado's offense is not very good, but if Detroit is blowing out all their arms in the first game, they don't have many arms left coming into the second game. I think an over might be worth a look here. And Tanner Gordon is having to make the start for the Rockies, and he has not been good. It's been rocky for him, to say the least. His major league career only includes last year, and he had an 8.65 ERA and 1.72 whip last year, which is very, very bad. So he has not shown that he's a very capable major league pitcher, and he's at the age of 27. And the Tigers, who have seen him before, are 8 for 12 off him with 2 home runs, a 667 average, and 2,000 OPS, which is just insane. So I would lean to the over in the second game of the doubleheader, but we don't know who's pitching for Detroit. And probably you're going to go over 10.5 in that one, which seems high, but in Coors Field, it makes sense. I'm sorry. And then we got Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Philly and Tampa Bay. Luzardo's pitching for Philly, and he's been basically their best pitcher. I mean, he's definitely good. 1.18 whip, 1.94 ERA. He's turning it around. He's coming off a mediocre start, I would say. We're giving up too many hits against Arizona, who is a pretty good lineup. He hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start, 2 or fewer in the last 3, including one at Wrigley Field against a very good Cubs offense. I mean, he's definitely pitching well over 1 strikeout an inning, fewer than 1 hit per inning. He's slightly wild, but not too bad. Good numbers for him, but against Tampa, small sample size, 24 at bats, but they've actually done well against him. 292 average, 976 OPS. But Luzardo has been kind of rocky throughout his career, and this year he seems to have really found something. So I don't know if the Luzardo that is reflected in those career stats against Tampa is the Luzardo that we see pitching this year. So I don't know that he's really going to get knocked around that badly. Pepio is pitching for Tampa. He's better than his numbers look right now. 1.41 whip, 4.23 ERA. I mean, his career numbers suggest that those numbers are going to get better. And against Philly's never seen it before, except Kepler is 0 for 2 off him. So Pepio is actually an unknown to Philadelphia, which kind of surprised me. But that might have me slightly leaning Tampa still, because I believe Tampa's trying to avoid a sweep as well, and they got embarrassed yesterday. Although Philly, I think, is the team that's playing Baltimore next, so I don't think they really care about that. But Tampa trying to avoid the sweep, coming off an embarrassing loss, might be the way that I would look in that game, just because I think you are getting a little bit of value just because Luzardo has struggled in the past. Oh, no, they have Cleveland next. What am I saying? I don't even know. Philadelphia does, I mean. But Luzardo has struggled in the past against Tampa, and Philadelphia's never seen Pepio before. So I might be looking to take Tampa. You know, you get a nice underdog price here in a bounce back spot. I would only do it in the first 5 innings, though, because Boz got knocked out of the game early yesterday. So Tampa used a lot of their bullpen, even though they do have a good bullpen, which helped me get that under yesterday. But I would go first 5 inning. Probably just grab Tampa as an underdog on the money line there. Philly is public, 64% of tickets. Yeah, 64% of tickets, only 54% of the cash. Up from minus 125 to minus 135, but less of the cash than tickets. Yeah, so lean Tampa money line first 5. And then my final play today is a first 5 inning play, as I said. Or no, this is not my final play. I have one more after this. First 5 innings, we're going under in Reds Atlanta. At least this game is not at Cincinnati, Great American Ballpark, for a number of reasons. But that game is that park is a hitter's park. This is not. So first 5 inning, getting it under 4, I think, is a decent way to look here. Of course, we're taking the bullpens out of the equation here. Cincinnati used a ton of their relief staff yesterday. As I said, Hunter Green exited after the 3rd inning, and I'm not sure why, because he didn't allow any runs, and he didn't throw that many pitches. So I don't know why he was out of the game. I don't know if there's an injury, which would suck, because I like him. He's a really, really good pitcher. I still got the win on Cincinnati yesterday. Their bullpen helped finish the job for me. They won pretty easily, I think. But now we got Nick Lodolo against Spencer Schwellenbach, and I think this is a good starting pitching matchup here. Lodolo, 1.04 whip, 3.27 ERA, and he has been very, very he has ridiculous splits this year, let's just say, with a 6.75 ERA at home and 299 opponent batting average at home. But he's on the road here, and on the road this season, he's got a 1.07 ERA and 176 opponent batting average. So he has been way better on the road than at home. So outside of that really hitter-friendly park, Great American Ballpark, he's been way better. So I like Lodolo in this one. And against the Braves, only Verdugo has ever seen him before. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. So Lodolo pitching well, pretty good young pitcher, much better on the road than at home. And the Braves lineup basically hasn't seen him before. So I think that gives him an extra edge. Again, like I always say, when you have a pitcher that has decent stuff, hitters that haven't seen him before tend to struggle, and they have to try to figure him out. And he's coming off an ugly start against Washington, but I don't think that means that we should take that much away from that. That was his worst start of the season. And that one was at home as well. Of course it was, because his numbers are terrible at home. On the road, that his road starts include starts at Milwaukee, at San Francisco, and at Coors Field. So his road starts haven't really been that easy, and he's still done pretty well on the road. So I like all that. And again, I like him to bounce back because he's been a pretty good pitcher this year. 31-7 strikeout walk ratio, fewer than 1 hit per inning. Pretty good stuff there, man. So we're going to look for him to bounce back there. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say about that, but he's been much, much better on the road than at home, where the environments are more pitcher friendly in some of these other parks. So I like the Lodolo side of it. And Schwellenbach, of course, I know I've lost trying I've taken 2 shots with Schwellenbach, man, on the Braves side, but we're going with the under in the first 5 innings this time, so maybe it'll be a little bit different, but he's still a good pitcher, man. 1.11 whip, 3.92 ERA, so we have 2 pretty good pitchers who are both coming off their worst starts of the season. Schwellenbach, his worst start was last start, and it was up against the Dodgers. I think he's going to bounce back. After his other bad start against Toronto, he came back with a nice performance against St. Louis. I think he's going to bounce back. He's a very good pitcher, 37-7 strikeout walk ratio, fewer than 1 hit per inning. Very similar handicap to Lodolo, to be honest. So I think he's going to bounce back as well. I like Schwellenbach. I like him to bounce Schwellenbach. He will be Schwellenbach. Let's get it done, man. So I like all that. And his splits, he's been better at home than on the road. And he's at home here with a 3.28 home ERA so far this year, 4.86 on the road, although the opponent batting averages are kind of flipped from that, but whatever. I like Schwellenbach here. And against the Reds lineup, they've seen him before, but in 15 at bats, small sample size, they have a 133 average off him in 502 OPS. So he's been good against this Reds lineup as well. And they haven't seen him this year, so they haven't seen him recently either. So under first 5 innings is the play in that one. And then we'll finish it off with these last 2, Toronto and the Angels, Chris Bassett and Jose Soriano. I don't know what to expect here. Bassett does have good numbers this year. I don't know if he can keep it up. 1.18 whip and 2.95 ERA. And is he the one? I don't know if it had to have been not a real headline where I saw it was like Chris Bassett attributes success to putting like, what was it, like nicotine patches like under his foreskin or something. I'm like, that can't be right. Ridiculous if true, but it's something that like Scandinavians do. I have no idea what it is. Probably a fake headline. He's been mediocre against the Angels, though. 70 at bats, large sample size, 271 average, 697 OPS. So those are okay numbers. But Bassett, again, this year, pretty good. 1.18 whip, 2.95 ERA. So he has been getting it done this year. 43-7 strikeout walk ratio, quite good. Although his fly ball rate is pretty high, which is a little concerning. And he's allowed more than 1 hit per inning. So he might have some regression there. Jose Soriano for Anaheim, very bad whip of 1.43 indicates that his 3.83 ERA should be higher than it is. You can't put that many men on base and be successful, man. But he has pitched decently in his last couple of starts. 11 innings, only allowing 3 earned runs across the 11 innings. And having a 9-2 strikeout walk ratio, but overall 31-16 strikeout walk ratio, more than 1 hit per inning. A little bit of a concern. He's definitely walking too many guys. Against Toronto, though, an 11 at-bat sample size, 0.91 average of 1 hit there, and a 182 OPS. So Soriano has done well against them. Toronto is public, 84% of tickets, but 98% of the cash, up from -120 to -123. I'm staying away from the game. I don't see much of a handicap there. And then Dodgers, Arizona. I know Dodgers. Yeah, I know that the Dodgers, you usually do not get value on the Dodgers, but I think this is enough of a good matchup for them that I'm going to play the Dodgers on the money line here. -154, slightly pricey, but I think the money is on their side here for now, at least. 73% of tickets, 91% of the cash coming in on the Dodgers. I think this is a good pitching matchup for them. The Dodgers, I know they're flying from Miami to Arizona, so the travel's a little bit of a concern here, but they're coming off an easy win over Miami yesterday, 10-1, and the Dodgers only use 1 relief pitcher, so their bullpen is pretty much saved. Arizona, yeah, I know they're not traveling, and they are coming off an ugly loss to the Mets. I understand that. Arizona only used like 3 of their relief pitchers, but their bullpen is pretty bad, man. So the Dodgers, I think, do have the bullpen advantage. I don't like Arizona's bullpen very much. Yes, the travel spot is worse for the Dodgers, but I think momentum kind of carries when you go from series to series like this and you're traveling. It's like going out on the road again, basically. So I think it's not that bad of a spot for the Dodgers. Arizona, yeah, it is a bounce back spot for them. But looking at the pitching matchup here, which I think is big, as I already told you, the Dodgers Of course, we know they can hit as well. The Dodgers probably have the slight edge offensively over Arizona as well, though Arizona can hit as well. But I think the bullpen scenario, the bullpens are the Dodgers have a better bullpen and the more rested bullpen. And Yamamoto is pitching for the Dodgers, man. Yeah, I don't think he can keep a 0.9 ERA for the course of an entire season. He won't be able to do that, but he is really, really good. 0.93 whip, also really good. Really good this season, except the walk rate is a little bit high, but very high strikeout rate, 49-13 strikeout walk ratio, well over 1 strikeout per inning and well below 1 hit per inning. He's almost allowing a hit every 2 innings, which is insane. He's been virtually unhittable, which is just crazy. Yeah, I mean, he's just rolling along. I don't really see why this would really be any different. How many starts has he made here? Let me see. He's made 7 starts, and he's allowed 0 earned runs in 4 of them, which also includes 4 of the last 5. And he's allowed more than 1 earned run in a start only once, and it was 2 earned runs in a home game against Detroit. He's one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball right now, man. And up against Arizona, they've seen him a little bit, 24 at-bat sample size. He's done well against them, of course. 125 average, 401 OPS. So he's done really well against them. The same cannot be said for Fott on the other side here, who is decent. 1.24 whip is getting on a little bit of the high side for me. 3.79 ERA, fine. I think his ERA should be a little bit higher with that whip. Against the Dodgers, though, they've done well against Fott in the past. 41 at-bats, 293 average, 911 OPS. So I think this is an extreme mismatch here. Yamamoto has great numbers against the D-backs. Fott has pretty bad numbers against the Dodgers, although he is better at home, at least to start this season. His home road splits very much in favor of him being at home, so that is a little bit of a concern, but I don't think it's enough. I think this looks like a pretty big mismatch for me, so we will go with the Dodgers in this one, and hopefully they can get it done, and that's going to do it, man, for me. So my plays today are Vegas Knights. I know we're playing a couple of moneyline favorites here. The Knights in the zigzag spot. Under first 5 innings, Reds, Braves, and Dodgers. A little bit of a pricey money line there, but I think it's a spot to play them. So that's going to do it. Tower Gang Toad on Twitter, patreon.com/Tower Gang. Get your tickets to Bro Grove, man. They're going pretty fast. You can come see us live at the end of June and check out the Tower Gang podcast. Of course, we had Ian Crossland on last night replacing Cole, and he fit in with us, man. It was a good episode, man. It was fun. It was fun hanging out with them. Go check it out, and that's going to do it. Peace out, guys.